Prime Field.
All right, Prime Field family. We need to talk about a box score that hit like a warning siren, because at the Hoophall Classic, on the biggest prep stage in the country, Olivia Vukosa didn't just play well. She left a college-ready fingerprint all over the game. 14 points, 13 rebounds, 4 steals, 2 blocks, and the biggest question of the night wasn't even the final score. It was this. Was that performance proof she's ready for the NCAA right now? Or was it just a showcase stat line that won't translate? Hoophall isn't a normal game. It's not your usual high school environment where talent can hide behind a pace advantage or a size mismatch. This is the stage where reputations get validated or exposed because the competition is real, the scouting is loud, and the pressure is constant. And for Vukosa, this wasn't just another night. This was a stress test, a national powerhouse opponent, a defensive grind, a moment where every possession feels heavier, every rebound is contested, and every mistake gets punished. So when you see a stat line like 14 and 13, the casual take is nice double-double. But the real question is, how did she get it? And what does it say about her game when things get ugly? Let's start with the obvious. 14 points and 13 rebounds at Hoophall. That's not empty production because the context matters. This wasn't a track meet. This was a low-scoring physical game, 53-39, where Christ the King only put up 39 total points. That's the detail people skip. In a game where your team is struggling to score, what happens to most bigs? They disappear. They get frustrated. They stop running. They start floating. Vukosa didn't. 14 points in a game like that doesn't just mean you scored. It means you became the answer when the offense didn't have one. When guards can't break pressure, when drives get swallowed, when spacing collapses, who becomes the release valve? The big who can demand touches, finish through contact, and stay patient when the defense loads up. And then there's 13 rebounds. Rebounding is the one skill scouts trust the most because it's effort, positioning, timing, strength, motor. Stuff that translates. If you rebound against size and athleticism on a showcase floor, you're not rebounding because you're tall. You're rebounding because you're serious. So here's the first takeaway. Even in a game that didn't favor her team's rhythm, her production stayed heavy. Now let's get to the part that should make every college coach lean forward. 4 steals and 2 blocks. Because blocks are expected from a high-level center prospect. But 4 steals from a 6'5" post? That's the modern game flashing on screen. Steals from a big aren't random. They come from reading actions early, jumping entry passes, timing digs, being active in gaps, having hands quick enough to punish lazy passes and decision-making. That's not just physical, it's processing speed. And when you pair 4 steals with 2 blocks, you get what our analysts call stocks, defensive events that flip possessions. 6 of them in one high-pressure showcase game means she wasn't just protecting the paint. She was disrupting the game. Ask yourself this. In college, what gets freshmen on the floor early? Coaches don't trust them to run the offense. They trust them to rebound and defend. If you're a freshman big who can end possessions with rebounds and create possessions with steals and blocks, you don't need a perfect post bag to matter immediately. So if you're trying to evaluate college ready, this is the part of the stat line that screams translation. And then we get to the quote that changes the weight of all of it. Gino Auriemma praised her toughness. That's not a casual compliment. Gino doesn't hand out toughness like it's a participation ribbon. In the UConn world, toughness means you keep playing when it's not going your way. You stay locked in when you're down. You keep rebounding when the offense is messy. You keep defending when your team's rhythm breaks. Look at the evidence. This was a losing effort on the scoreboard, and she still produced. That's the part scouts love. Because anyone can look confident in a blowout. Toughness shows up when your team is stuck in the mud and the game turns into a survival test. So when Gino praises toughness after a game like this, it's basically him saying, that part of her game, that part will travel. Now here's where the argument splits. One side says, okay, nice numbers. But how predictive is Hoophall really? It's a showcase. It's one game. The environment is different. Fair. One game never tells the whole story, but here's the counter. Hoophall is the closest thing high school has to a college environment. National opponent, neutral floor, big crowd, media attention, pressure. And if you can rebound and defend in that environment, you're showing the traits that survive the jump. Also, let's be real. Elite competition suppresses scoring. That's normal. Guards have less space. Bigs get doubled faster. Offenses get pushed out of rhythm. So judging a player only by whether they hit a season average scoring number in a showcase is the wrong test. The better test is this. When the game gets harder, does their value collapse or does it evolve? Vukosa's value didn't collapse. She found impact through rebounds and defensive disruption. That's why this performance matters. So if you're asking, was it legit? The answer depends on what you believe predicts college success. Highlight scoring or possession-winning traits. Now let's zoom out, because the reason this conversation is so loud is simple. Vukosa is a centerpiece of UConn's future front court plans. UConn doesn't need every recruit to be a 25-point scorer on day one. What they need, especially from a big, is reliability. Clean the glass, anchor defense, be physical, be steady, be the kind of player who raises the floor of the team even when the offense isn't pretty. And if her floor in a high-pressure showcase is a double-double plus 6 defensive events, that's not just safe. That's valuable. That's, I can help you win games in January valuable. So the real question becomes, what's her ceiling if her base impact is already showing up on a stage like this? So here's the prime field takeaway. Olivia Vukosa's Hoophall Classic line wasn't just a flash. It was a translation test, rebounding, defensive versatility, toughness under pressure. And she passed it with receipts. 14 and 13 is big, but 4 steals, 2 blocks, and a Geno toughness stamp, that's the part that makes this feel college ready. Now I want it from you. Are you buying this as a real NCAA signal, Italis? Or do you think Hoophall performances get overrated because the spotlight makes everything look bigger than it is? Drop your take in the comments and tell me what matters more for a freshman big, scoring polish or defense and rebounding dominance that forces coaches to play you.
Prime Field.